Hi, this is Maria. I'm going to show you how I made this daily spread using Procreate brushes and one sticker from Gollan Designs. This is a Big Natural DigiBujo 2019 version in the natural. This does come in different colors. I prefer the natural. It's a linked journal. And I will put down here, you will see a little arrow in the video description. If you click that arrow, you will see a link to all of the products that I use. I do favor Jenny. At this point, Jenny Gollan is the only products that I use anymore. So anyways, this is Goodnotes5. This is my end result, and I'm going to start from scratch and show you how I made this. So I'm going to click the three dots, clear my page, start from a clean slate. If you've already exported this into your camera roll, you don't need to do this step again. I will show you, in case you don't know how to do this, to click the up arrow here, export this page as an image, and I'm going to save it to my camera roll. Like I said, if you watch my videos, if you've done this once, you don't have to keep doing this step every time. But if you're new, go ahead and do this step. I just saved this image into the camera roll. I'm going to go into Procreate, add screen size. That just gives me a very large canvas. I'm going to click the wrench tool, add and insert photo. I'm going to pick the very last one, which is my journal page. And that way I can work inside of the size of my journal. This will work with any journal, planner, whatever you've got. I just like to do it this way so that when I save it and take it back into GoodNotes, it's easier. It's already sized properly. In case you're wondering what this is, that's just so my bracelet doesn't knock on the glass mat. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up a sticker. I'm going to work side by side here from my photos. That's where I keep my images, my stickers. You can also add them from here, like we added the first one. So I'm going to pick a daily, drag it over. This was from the time block set. It came, if you want to see your photos bigger, you can just scroll over. It came with these for time blocking, but I'm choosing to use that first one. And actually that's going to be the only sticker I use today. So I'm just going to make sure I'm sized properly in here. And drop that into place. When you drag things over, your arrow automatically is selected, and that just lets you size things. Procreate is very handy for sizing. Alright, so that is my one sticker that I brought in. I'm going to pick a color palette. This one is Jenny's Folk Art, and if you choose a different palette, whichever one you set as your default will show up here. I like to work in this better than in this view because I forget which colors I'm using. This way I pick the palette that I want to use. I want to use that one, Folk Art. And when I go into disc mode, that's all I see. It's just handy. I'm going to pick a dark green and then go into my paint brushes. Now I'm going to use Jenny Gollan's Botanicals. It gives you a lot of brushes, okay? Or like this. Okay, beautiful. That gives me leaves already in there. Some of them are just flowers alone. Okay, and then you can color your flowers. I am double tapping, two-finger tap to erase the images that I'm dropping. A leaf, if I tap, I will get something like that. Something I'm noticing is I wrote right over my layer with my journal, so I'm going to two-finger tap to erase. And make sure I'm in a new layer when I do that. Okay, that way I can move my layer without messing up my journal in the background. I can make it smaller, make it bigger. Okay, so these brushes are very, very handy. So I'm going to choose an individual leaf and an individual flower. Okay, now you can do one of these where they're all mixed together, but today I chose to do independent leaves, so it's up to you. You've got lots of choices here. So I'm just going to double check that I'm in a brand new layer, and I am. And I'm going to pick a size for my stamp and tap my screen. Okay, that's a little small, 2-finger tap and make it bigger. Okay, now since it's in its own layer, I can move this around and put it wherever I want. Okay, I'm going to slide and duplicate. Now I have 2 leaves in 2 layers, and I can move it, I can flip it, and just try to create the illusion of how I think it should look. I'm going to duplicate that first one. Let's duplicate again this last one. So they're all on different layers. I'm going to flip it vertical. Or just turn it however you want it to go. You can make it smaller. Okay, just try to get a pattern that you're happy with. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to merge those 3 layers together. I'm just going to pinch them so that they are on one layer. Slide and duplicate the whole thing, and I'm going to flip and flip again vertical so that I have something like this. Okay, so if I'm happy with that layout, then I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to add another layer, pick a pink. I'm going to pick my flower next. I'm going to pick this one because it has some leaves on it, and just drop it into place. Use my arrow tool since it is in its own layer, and just position it as I want it. Now if I'm happy with that, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with the leaves as where they sit next to the flowers. I'm going to go ahead and merge the leaves together. If it won't do that, just click the top one and say merge down, and that does the same thing. Okay. So now that I have my flowers on top, I'm going to click my eraser tool, and in the green layer I'm going to erase these leaves so they appear to be behind. Let's see, I erased too much. 2-finger tap. I'm going to erase the leaves so that it appears that they are behind the flower. Okay. So the outline of my flowers is nice and clear. Okay. I'm going to go back into my flower. I'm going to go to my paintbrush, and I'm going to now go into the illustration pack. And illustration pack comes with a lot of brushes as well. I'm going to pick watercolor, water wash. And it's literally, I'm going to watercolor. I'm using the same color. I'm not changing my color. You can pick the size of your brush, and I'm just going to literally color in this flower. And now these are pressure sensitive, so if I push hard, I get a harsh line. If I just barely tap, you see how it's pressure sensitive? Okay, so you can do this to erase or 2-finger tap. Either way works. So as long as I push just gently, I'm going to get a gentle wash here. Okay, I'm not looking for perfection because this is meant to be watercolor. Okay, so I'm going to make it just a tad darker in the middle than the rest of the flower. Okay, just color it in. And just do that until you're happy with your design. Okay? And let's slide and duplicate. So I have 2 of the same. I'm going to pick the green color that we had before. Tap, select, tap, and fill. So now 1 layer is in green and 1 layer is in pink. Now you can do that to mix colors, or what I like to do is use that to erase. So now my leaves will be green and my flowers will be red. From the pink layer, I'm going to use my eraser and erase the opposite color. So I'm in the green, I'm in the pink layer, and I'm erasing the green from the leaves. So this layer will show I'm erasing the red, okay? So again, and I'm not erasing anything else because they're on a different layer. And that way I get the same design, but some of it's in green and some of it is in red. And I'll go through in the other layer and erase the green from the red flowers for the same thing on the other side here in just a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my layers, to my green layer, and I'm going to erase the green from my flower. Okay, so my flower will stay pink, and the same design in the green for the leaves. We'll keep the leaves green. Okay, now I'm in my green layer. I'm going to go back to that watercolor. Where was it? Illustration pack, water wash. I'm in green. Make sure my brush is not too big. And I'm going to wash these out in green. Watercolor. And we'll just watercolor it instead. I like that better. A watercolor is letting my leaves shine through there. Okay, so I'm following the edges and a little bit of the actual design of the leaf. Okay, again, watercolor, so we're not looking for perfection here. And I've got my brush tip fairly small, so I'm not painting all over the place. I went over the edges a little bit there, 2-finger tap, and that clears that up. Okay, and my brush is fairly small. And if you make a mistake, you can always go back in with your eraser and clean up a bit. Let's see, I kind of like those dots in red, so I'm going to erase the green from the dots. And that was a happy little accident. I kind of didn't realize that was going to happen, but I like that. Okay, now look at your overall composition. If you don't like the way they are, you can, I'm in the layer with the leaves, I can select, make sure I get it all, and move just a little bit if I think it's a little too far away. Okay, and I can do the same thing with the other side. I'm in rectangle mode. Oops, I didn't get the whole thing. Now if I had thought about this, I would have left the leaves in their own layer. Because see, now I'm cutting it off. What I can do is go freehand and move the leaves this way. Arrow, and then just move them. Okay, now doing that, now my leaves are moved a little bit there. So I'm going to have to go in and clean that up again. But it's not a big deal. Okay, once you're happy with your design, merge them all together so they're all on one layer. And now I can use my arrow tool to put that where I want it. Okay, I can flip it around. I can resize this and just make it fit. Okay, slide and duplicate. Now I have two of those. And I can flip it. I flip horizontal and vertical, so I have a mirror image. Okay, first one is on its own layer, so I can continue to move that independently from the other one. And then I'm going to take this original, copy it again, and I'm just going to make this really big. Same flowers, I didn't have to draw that again. I can leave that way, or I can flip it the other way. However you like your design to be. I think I like it better that way. It's up to you. Okay, and then I'm going to, that's my big layer right there. I'm going to click the M, lower the opacity, because that's my writing surface. Okay, alright, I'm going to go back to the top, add another layer. I'm going to go back to the pink I had before, and I'm going to pick a different brush. So I'm going to pick the triple liner, select a size. Let's just try it and see what it does. Very nice. So I'm going to start behind the flower. Okay, if that's too big, simply make it smaller. Two finger tap. I am in my own layer, brand new layer. Okay, and I'm just going to make this an extension of my flowers. I can move that below all the flower layers. And that is it. That's how I did this design. You can choose to add more layers, use the other brushes. You can do whatever you want in here. You have shader brushes, you have drawing pencils, you have a triple. I didn't use this, but that one, that's pretty too. There's a triple and there's a triple liner. Let's see what the difference is. The triple deck is gives you variations in color. But I used this one, the triple liner. But either way, they look very pretty. So that's how I did that. Let's go back to the layers. I'm going to turn off journal layer and the background to make this transparent. Wrench tool, say share, PNG, save the image to my camera roll. Then I go back into Goodnotes, pen tool, click the little picture icon. The last image is what you're after. It will also be the last image here. Drop it. Make sure you're in the right spot. Tap and edit. And you will find that it lines up very well because we used the journal itself to size this. That's it. Thanks for watching.